Graphing and writing inequalities. Our objective is to identify solutions of inequalities in one variable, as well as write and graph inequalities in one variable. Who uses this? Members of a crew team can use inequalities to be sure they fall within a range of weights. An inequality is a statement that two quantities are not equal. The quantities are compared by using one of the following signs. So in the first diagram here, we have A is less than B. In the second one, we have A is greater than B. As soon as you have a line underneath an inequality symbol, you're dealing with less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. In this case, we have A is less than or equal to B, and A is greater than or equal to B. On the far right, we have A is not equal to B. If you have a solution, so you have a solution of an inequality, is any value that makes the inequality true. So let's practice. Identifying solutions of inequalities. Describe the solutions of 3 plus x is less than 9 in words. So test the values of x that are positive, negative, and 0. Alright, so let's complete the table. Well, we have 3 plus x needs to be smaller than 9. So let's just try some random numbers. Okay, we have negative 2.75. Well, 3 plus negative 2.75 is going to leave you with 25. Is 0.25 smaller than 9? Yes. Alright, let's try 0. 3 plus 0 is 3. Is 3 smaller than 9? Yep, so far so good. Alright, how about 3 plus 5.99? Well, 3 plus 5.99 is 8.99. Is 8.99 less than 9? Yes, it is. Alright, well, how about 6? 3 plus 6 is 9. Is 9 less than 9? No, 9 is not less than 9, it's equal to 9. So that's not a possibility. Well, 6.01 plus 3. Well, that's going to give you 9.01. And is 9.01 smaller than 9? No, it's larger. So, therefore, based on what we're seeing, it seems that your solution has to be a number or any number less than 6. So, solutions are less than 6. Let's look at graphing inequalities. So in words, we have all real numbers less than 5. Algebraically, we would have x is less than 5. And if we were to chart this on a graph, it's going to be an open circle. So less than and greater than symbols have open circles. So less than, greater than, you have an open circle. Less than and equal to, greater than or equal to, you have a filled in circle because you can include that value in your solution. So it's all values less than 5. All right, well, how about this one? We have all real numbers greater than -1. So x has to be greater than -1. So it's a greater than symbol, so it's going to be an open circle because we can't include the value of -1. It's all values bigger than -1. All right, all real numbers less than or equal to 1/2. So x has to be smaller or less than or equal to 1/2. So we're including that 1/2. It's a possibility for a solution. That's why you have a filled in circle. So you have a filled in circle, and then all of your unknown values have to be smaller. So all your x values go to the left. They have to be smaller than 1/2. Okay. Then we have all real numbers greater than or equal to 0. So x is greater than or equal to 0. So because 0 is a possible value, it's going to be a filled in circle, and then greater than. Where are the numbers larger? Numbers are larger to the right, so that's where you're going to shade. Let's try a few. We have graph each inequality. B is less than -1.5. Well, it's a less than symbol, so it's going to be an open circle. And we need to find -1.5, so it's going to be an open circle on -1.5. So we have an open circle, and then all of our values are smaller. So where are they smaller? To the left. Try this next one on your own. Now that you've had a chance to try this one on your own, let's try it together. So we have r is greater than or equal to. So because you have that or equal to, you're going to have a filled in circle. And it's going to be on 2. So at 2, we're going to have a filled in circle because we can include this value. It has to be greater than or it can be equal to 2. And because all of your values are greater, we want to shade to the right. So we're going to go, where are the values greater? The values are greater in this direction. Let's try working backwards. So you're given a graph, and you want to write the inequality. So you're going to write that little algebraic equation, or inequality rather. All right, so we have an unknown value. We're going to have some sort of a symbol here, and it's sitting at 4.5. It's an open circle, so you know it's either going to be greater than or less than. Now, all of your x values are greater, so all of your x values are greater. You can think of it like an alligator. Which one is the alligator going to eat? The alligator wants the bigger one, right? So if all your x values are bigger, that's where the open side of your inequality symbol is. Let's try B. You have an unknown value. We're not sure what the symbol is, but we know that we're at -3 as our point. It's a filled in circle, so therefore you know it's going to be either greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. So now let's look at where all of our x values are. All the x values are less than, they're smaller. So if they're smaller than -3, -3 is the bigger one, so that's the one that has the opening. And don't forget you need that little or equal to. Let's try a sports application. The members of a lightweight crew team can weigh no more than 165 pounds each. Identify a variable and write an inequality for the acceptable weights of the team members. Then we're going to graph the solutions. Alright, so let's start with the fact that your weight has to be less than or equal to 165, because nobody on the crew can weigh any more than 165, but they can hit a maximum of 165 and still be a member of the lightweight crew team. So now that we have our inequality, we can graph the solutions. Alright, so your weight has to be below 165, but it can include 165, so we've got ourselves a filled-in circle. Now, oftentimes when you would see this inequality, you would just continue and write an arrow and go this way. However, we're dealing with a real-life application, and we know that nobody's going to be weighing less than 0 pounds. It's kind of impossible. So, put an open circle on 0, because you know you can't go you can't have a weight that's less than 0 and still be human. And that ends our lesson on graphing and writing inequalities.